Go ahead.
These top 4 were all made in basic training. These, and this one here. But these 2 here are made at Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. That's our cadre. They're at Fort Oglethorpe. No, that's wrong. This one's not cadre. This is basic training deal.
Yeah, this whole book's supposed to be basic training.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
We'll see when we flip through. Yeah. It looks like now, did Mom put some of this together for you? Because I see it's got, what is this? Just like a coat check or something? No, it says identification check.
Camp Crown, Missouri.
Crown Coach Company and hat check.
That must be. Oh, that was a bus.
Bus fare.
You
remember any names of any of those people that you went through camp with?
Yeah.
Well, that one says Bob on it.
Bob Hollis. This is Bob Hollis. This one is Bob Hollis, and these other guys I can't remember. And I'm pretty sure this is at Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. This one.
It looks like it's taking the same.
There's Bob Hollis here. That's him, and that's him. This is him, and I don't know about that.
That's someone you met in basic.
He lived in Macon, and I met him. I got to see him, talk to him, but he died about a couple of years ago. I do have no earthly idea who that could be. This is
when you were goofing around. Look like y'all were goofing around there.
Yeah.
Play fighting and said.
This is me, of course. That's me. I don't know these 2 guys. That's Bob Hollis there. That's me. This is Bob Hollis and I playing around, and this is Bob Hollis and I playing around. And I cannot remember this guy's name. And I can't remember this guy's name. Looked like it was full of beer or something.
Could have been.
Yeah. And I tell you what, that's Bob Hollis on the end. That's me in the middle, but I don't know this guy. This is I don't know this guy from New York, I think. No, these Signal Corps guys from New York. That's Bob Hollis with some guy from New York.
That's the same guy who's on this one.
Yeah, and this is Bob Hollis and I here, and this is Bob Hollis in the front there, but.
And that same guy.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that we can't remember.
I can't. I don't remember this guy. I don't believe that's Bob. Maybe Bob. Looks like him. He had ROTC in Georgia, and I'd never heard of it. We didn't have it in Alabama, and he went to school at Georgia Tech. They put him out of basic training right after basic training. He went to Georgia Tech. I saw him in Macon, 3 or 4 years ago, and we met, and David knew him. He was in David's church, and met him, and we had a good time talking. But he passed away with cancer.
Did y'all did they let you have you keep your weapons with you in the barracks? I see y'all got pictures posing with your rifles.
Yeah, apparently they did. Looks like it. I can't remember. Must have had rifle racks in the barracks that were locked, you know. Oh, this older guy here in the middle was named George Scott. He was a banker from New York, and he got out of the service. He was trying to get out. He was about 40-something years old, and he wrote a poem about all of us in the barracks one time. He said about me that that's Tom Seagle from Alabama. E flat don't give a damn.
Trying to rhyme something, wasn't he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This guy here went to flight school out of basic. I can't remember this young man. That's Scott and I there, but that's me and I don't know the rest of those guys. I guess that's me in that overcoat there. I'm not sure. That looks like Bob Hollis there.
I noticed y'all wearing leggings. A lot of people didn't realize they didn't issue boots to
That's right.
GIs, regular GIs back then.
Just the airborne people had boots. And they didn't like it when we that's the same guy that went to flight school. That's Scott again. And I don't know who this guy with him. Scott.
You said they didn't like it when you got boots later?
Everyone didn't like it because we got boots. No, because they thought they were going to be the only one. That's me, and that's me with I can't remember this guy's name there. Remember him. Here I am with a mascot. That's that same guy that went to flight school, and I can't remember his name either. That's me, and that's me, of course.
Somebody had a few beers, it was partying or something, they all playing around.
Yeah, something to do.
Now, that one there is another one of the that looks, to me, it reminds me a lot of Scott.
Yeah.
In the face, you look like Scott there. He looks like you.
Yeah. We just flew around that pack.
Did you have a brownie camera or something? Because, I mean, some of these, it looks like y'all were setting up some funny scenes to take something, a picture of.
Yeah, that's me there, but that's me, of course. But I don't think I'm in this picture.
You didn't have your Argus C3 then?
No. Didn't get that. We got that in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy that's Morgan. Guy Morgan. Guy L. Morgan. He was best man at our wedding.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. This man.
He got his rain protector on his cat for his photo there.
And he did live in some named Junction in Ohio. That's me in that 37 Dodge.
Now that says on leave.
Yeah,
1943. So we've jumped. That's out of. Oh, that's after basic and.
Must have been, yeah, right after basic.
Yeah, because this one says home on leave, Anniston.
Yeah.
And 1943.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Mom on the
hood of the car.
Is that on that? Is that a 37 Dodge?
That's that 37 Dodge.
That was your dad's?
Mm-hmm. Dad, 37 Dodge. This is me on 10th Street Mountain. We'll just pull it off and make some pictures.
On where now?
10th Street Mountain in Anniston.
10th Street Mountain in Anniston.
They go over the mountain. Used to be go over the mountain.
There's what is that one? Is that like a ID card or what is that? It just says Central Signal Corps ATC.
That must have been a pass.
Is that ATC Advanced Training Center? Or
yeah, I guess so. Company A, 156 pounds.
Got some mementos here. Oh, there's a check. There you go. Looks like it's hugs and kisses from Mom.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Christmas. First National Bank of Anniston. How about that?
And then that was... What is that? That's a ticket. Coach only.
That's not a ticket, yeah.
You got a train ticket?
No, that's a coach, automobile coach, up regular bus, really a bus.
There's a card for USO Travelers Aid Association. It says Private and Mrs. Seagle to Mrs. Thompson.
That's a reference they gave for us to get a house, rent a room.
Oh, they gave you a card like that. So
yeah, go out.
They help you connect with someone to get a room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. And this is a transfer from. Oh, that's San Francisco. Where in the world?
Well, it's issued by the St. Louis San Francisco Railway Company.
Oh, yeah. I must have been. What if that was on the train or what?
Well, it says the passenger ticket manager at St. Louis, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
So it was issued in St. Louis, Missouri, even though it was from that company.
It
says a medical. Go ahead.
Did you know when I was at Camp Crowder, Missouri, I almost processed, not Camp Cromwell, we'd moved on up to Camp Reynolds, Pennsylvania. I took Dot to the doctor, and I didn't even go in the room with her. You know, that time you sat out and waited, now you go in with your wife. But I didn't even go in the room with her. And he came out, the doctor came out, he said, says, I'm thinking about sending your wife home back to her family doctor. He said, would you like to escort her back? And man, you know, I jumped at that, you know. He says, you won't have to do anything. He said, I'll call Red Cross. And he did. And it called me I was processing there at Camp Run, and I was almost through processing, and my group left while I was home. I went home for 9 days, and I got a 4-day extension. And while I was gone, the group I processed went overseas and I got back to Camp Reynolds. I had to wait till they processed another group, and I went with them, and that's when I got on the Aquitania, and that's when they took 150 of us off the ship and sent us up to Iceland to form a new signal service company. It was 237 Signal Service Company. So I missed the invasion. That was March 1944, and the invasion June 6, 1944. And they said that we'd go back and be part of that invasion. We didn't. I don't think they ever intended for us to. And we called ourselves the Forgotten Bastards of Iceland. But we weren't a part of that, we thought. And we didn't know how blessed we were. We didn't realize then how blessed we were. This is what is this we call the CB's liners? Where we really stand in line. I don't know what that means.
See, we call the CB liners, for we really stand in line in each and every thing we do. We've got the art down fine. We stand in line for clothing, we stand in line for chow, we stand in line for picture shows, for we like shows and how. We stand in line to get our shots, unwillingly I confess. We even stand in line to fight, to order dress right dress. We stand in line for passes about every other day, and twice as much you'll see us as we stand in line for pay. And when we get to heaven, to be those gobs divine, we'll be saying to St. Peter, St. Mac, where's the line?
Yeah. This is a poem Doc sent me, I think. Yesterday I loved you, tomorrow I'm not sure. For how can such a sudden thing be likely to endure? Once my granny told me, love's like pine logs, quick to catch, hot while lasting, and soon burn out. Now I'm reminded, yes, truly, I am sure today is like forever, and our love will endure. Let's see when she sent that, or did she?
It says this
was written by Anniston. Written by somebody in Anniston for the Anniston
for Birmingham News.
The Birmingham News, yes.
It looks like it says. Well, I don't know who this is.
These are, yeah.
Let's see if we can figure that out.
These are some Signal Corps pictures. Yeah, I think you found. I know you found these.
I found copies of those when I didn't realize you had this, and I was trying to find you some.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember doing any of those kind of drills?
Yeah, they told us when we went to, after we had a refresher course before we went overseas. The reason we got married, I stayed at Camp Crowder, Missouri, because after basic, they asked if some of us would like to be permanent cadre. That if we go through transportation school, it would be cadre. So I jumped the opportunity to stay there rather than go overseas, and I went through the transportation school, but that was in September, I guess, and by December we had orders going overseas. We got married because we thought that we were going to be able to stay there. I asked Dr. to marry me, and she married. We married October 26th, but by December I had orders going overseas. I think they just wanted somebody to fill in and go to school, you know, and told us that we would stay there as cadre. And we did stay for a while, but not long. But that's the way Signal Corps. Now, they told us, and when we were on when we going overseas, that we'd go in with the first infantry, and we'd have spools that you put on a pole, and you'd be running or carrying that wire, and we'd be going with the first infantry, and so we were all set for that. Of course, we didn't do it. They had spools of cord that they put on a pole, and 2 people can carry it. And they said that's what we'd be doing. They'd be going in with the first of the infantry, but we didn't, of course.
Preparing you for the worst, weren't they?
Yeah. And I don't, maybe somebody did, but back then that's probably don't work. This is had a sweet time at concert.
Sure thought of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Christmas concert, I had the best. CRC. CSCRTC. Campground. I don't know what this little book was. Facts about Camp Crowder.
Oh, just like a orientation brochure or something?
Located in the heart of the picturesque Ozark Mountain region. Camp Crowder is the home of the Central Signal Corps Training Center, largest Signal Corps training center in the world. The post was named after General Herbert Crowder, native Missourian, who attained fame as the author of the Selective Service Act of the First World War, and who is Provost Marshal General. Who as Provost Marshal General was responsible for the success of administration. He had served as Judge Advocate General and was for a time Professor of Military Tactics at the University of Missouri.
Okay, so he's a famous Missourian.
Yeah, well, that's named after him, that campground. And that's just a bus ticket there, Hatchet. Did a good job putting this together. I won't tell you that. Is that Camp Crowder there?
That says Anniston Country Club.
Anniston Country Club.
GI Bill of Rights. If you go overseas, enlisted man's pass, couple of passes. I guess those were valuable.
Yeah, you had to know your general orders. There was 11 of them then. You had to know all of them. Prior to going overseas, enlisted man's pass, 6 p.m. to 4th. William H. Meyer, First Lieutenant Infantry. Greenville. Oh, this was Greenville, Pennsylvania. That's where we were processing going overseas. Another place we were at.
That was your Christmas pass. It was December 24th to December 27th.
Mm-hmm.
That you go out for Christmas.
Mm-hmm. We were in Greenville, Pennsylvania during at Christmas time, and we were going to go downtown and try to find something to eat, and it wasn't any place open. So we didn't have anything to eat Christmas Eve. people in the house where we lived didn't care for us after they found out we were rebels. They called us rebels. Dot, when I came home, Dot was crying one day, and he had said something to her. It was so hot upstairs, and the heat, of course, rises, and she had cracked a window, and he said something to her about it. And I told him, if you have anything to say about what goes on upstairs, you talk to me. And he told me, well, he said you can find you a place to stay. Because he said, if I'd known that you were rebels, I wouldn't have rented to you in the first place. So we had to find another place to stay.
Western Union Telegram.
That must have been, when is it dated? Can you see a date on it? Oh, well, and saved. That must have been when we arrived in don't know. APO must have been APO 860. Well, that's just I don't know what that means. I can't remember it. Mrs. Thomas Seagle, post up.
You sent it to Mom, and it was saying you all well and safe,
Mm-hmm.
but you couldn't say anything else. I guess
You couldn't tell nothing. No,
you could give your that. Well, that was written on there later. That must have been the APO number where you were after you got to Iceland. Then
yeah. We got to Iceland. These bodies all on the shore where they sunk submarines. And, you know, people were killed, and the bodies washed up on the shore. I didn't see them. They talked about them. But you know, Iceland is just nothing but a glacier. What do you call where volcanoes have erupted? This
volcanic island.
volcanic, yeah. Just all of it just full. And it steam pouring up all over the ground, and they that's where they get their hot water from that steam underneath the water. They heat all of Reykjavik. Now, I was at Reykjavik for a while. I went. They said they sent a platoon of us up to. This is 1944 here. That must have been Easter Field Service, April 9th, 1944.
Easter service.
Yeah. Field north of Camp Monmouth. Oh yeah. Okay. Our main unit was at Camp Monmouth, I guess, down near Reykjavik, but I was up at Reykjavik with a detachment, and we were assigned to a squadron up there of Air Force people, and I guess that's one reason I got to come home when I did. But they could let one person come home, I think, when the war was winding down, and I was that person. I stepped off the train in Anniston, Alabama. Some guy hollered at me and said, "Hey, soldier, did you know the war ended today?" And I said, "No, I didn't know that." He said, "Well, it did." So I didn't have to go back over there. I had to go back to Iceland.
Early cow. Beer ration.
In
a beer ration.
The beer ration. That's a krona there, I guess. It was there.
Some Icelandic money?
Yeah, it's like money. Yeah, that's a krona. K-R-O-N-A, krona. What is that? Iceland Capitol Street Scenes.
Some clippings from the paper there.
Yeah, what oldest democracy, Iceland. Iceland determined to stand on an island basis is problem to nations. Reykjavik, Iceland. This new republic first presidential election set for June won't be necessary. No opposition has appeared against incumbent so-and-so. The Constitution provides an election by acclamation. That's the hut now that we were in. So yeah.
Yeah, I can see good.
There should be one covered with snow where you couldn't get out. Let's see if it is though. I don't know what I did with that one. There's one somewhere. Anyhow,
You are in the snow. Is that you?
Yeah, that's the Parker there. The white Parker is what we wore up there. And that's I don't know where that was. Some mountain we got out and did some hiking or something. Oh, here it is. Here's the snow here. Iceland, 1944. I don't know who that's with. I guess we kept our guns with us there, and we kept ammunition there, brother. One time we were, somebody gave one of the guys in the hut a case of beer. I mean, a case of wine. And man, we got all pretty well loaded on that thing. And the guy across from me was from the state of Washington. He said, "I'm gonna stand on my bunk and pee over here on yours." And I said, "If you do, I'll kill you." And I might have, I don't know what would have happened if he'd done it. He didn't do it, but just crazy stuff. Like this guy's name is Lessess. He's from New York. This guy's name is Riggs. He's from Oklahoma, and that's me. And I can't. Oh, that's Eifler. That's a real fine man there. He's from New York. He was married, Eifler. Lessess was on a 60-foot pole that fell. They didn't set it deep enough in the ground in Iceland, that permafrost, and he fell, but he fell on top of the pole. Yeah.
Lucky.
And he was one. He was the one that was sent home from down at Reykjavik, and I was the one up at Reykjavik sent. We were together on a ship coming back to the United States, and I'm sure he didn't have to go back either. There's Lessess there. That's Riggs. Lessess didn't go up to he didn't go up to the unit up at Reykjavik. He stayed down there. That's me, but I can't remember a lot of these. I remember this guy was from Kentucky, and this one from Kentucky. Riggs, I know, was from Oklahoma. He was all in the oil well business. He had a beautiful car at Camp Crowder, Missouri. And I told him we had to catch a bus after we got married to a hotel in Joplin. He said, "Why didn't you ask me? I took you." But I didn't know him. He was in another barracks. I didn't know him at that time.
Is that outside the Quonset hut, or what is that?
That's outside of Quonset hut in Iceland. That's outside of Quonset hut in Iceland. So is all these. Can't place this. Can't remember this guy. I don't know if that's me, and I can't tell. What does that say? Decontamination hut. Oh, that's George Poe. There. He's the one from Cleveland, Tennessee. He was a professional gambler, and he went off one night and come in about half drunk, been playing poker, and he dropped the money, roll of money as big as that thing. You no kidding. He put it in his shirt at night. He dropped it out. I picked it up and put it on my pillow. And next morning I gave it to him, and he said he wanted to do something for me. He said, "Let's get in a poker game, and I'll help you win some money." He did. I won $300, but I sent him home. And
Just for you.
Yeah. That's me with a big fish. That everybody, I think, got the picture of that. George Poe did, and I did. I don't know whether it's a salmon.
Is that the Jeep that you flipped?
I don't know. It could be.
Looks like it's got a built up on it.
Yeah, they did a wooden cab because they got so cold there. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, it told it. Somebody gave me them old coveralls, and I was having trouble with my eyes. I was in the hospital 2 times with my eyes, and the doctor called the company command and said, "You're going to have to give me a job inside." But the mess sergeant found out about it. He said, "If you'll give me Seagle, let him go draw my rations 3 days a week, you won't have to furnish." But we were having first 3 KPs, I think, and he said, "You won't have to furnish but 1. Just give me him permanent." So they did. So all I did was go draw rations. And I'd lay in my... He said, "There's no point in you come over here and wait for the truck to come pick you up to go ration." He said, "Stay in bed and I'll call you." Yeah, I stayed in bed. You stay in bed. All these guys having to go to work, they'd come back and kick that bunk, cussing me, and they so cold, and they had to go to work, and I'm laying up in bed waiting to get that call about 9 o'clock to go go pick up rations 3 times a week. and I'd stay over there. And he said, as long as you keep that storage room clean and get my rations for me, and there'd be no problem. There'd be no problem. So
a good deal.
That's a good deal for me. And that weather cold was so cold. This is John Bramlett, a friend of mine at the Bronze Star. Last time I heard of him, he was hauling bodies from Pensacola to Birmingham, and I don't know for what, but people I guess that want to be buried there. He must have been in the infantry outfit. Oh, he's over in the South Pacific. We were in school together. That's Riggs and I. That boy's from Kentucky, but I can't remember his name. That's me and Riggs. And that's the one from Kentucky out there. And I think this boy's name was Kaiser. He spliced cable.
Can't read what that one says.
Let's see. Our home.
Our home, okay.
Yeah, our home. Yeah, the hut, yeah. They had built up around it for some reason. We got Glenn Miller every Saturday till he passed away. Then we still got the band. Christmas 1944. Menu. Pretty good meal. Souffle. Oyster dressing. How about that? Roast turkey. Roast Maryland turkey. Ice cream or fresh strawberry, raspberries. Assorted chocolate. We eat pretty good. That was a good mess hall. U.S. Army Air Corps furnished that. On Iceland.
Christmas, and there's the Thanksgiving one.
Yeah. Yeah, menu for Thanksgiving. Turkey and souffle potatoes again. Mince pie, pumpkin pie. Oh, this is a chapel. Oh, Lord, have mercy upon us.
Just Camp Turner, Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
Is Camp Turner what they called the place where your huts were? Or do you remember that?
No, that wasn't where we were. I don't.
Okay.
This must have
Maybe
been where
right
this
there.
where the what must have been where the chapel was.
January 45.
Yeah. Huh. 1286 Air Force Base Unit. Where was that? Must have been there now. Yeah, 14 January. Yeah, I was there in January 45. I can't remember the chaplain's name.
Now this looks like an example of the. Didn't the Army send y'all's mail, microfiche?
Yeah.
They would
Yeah.
microfiche it, and y'all
Yeah.
would send mail.
Mm-hmm. And Mother says she knows where they are. I'd like to find them because there's a bunch of them.
Bunch of those.
Yeah. Email. Yeah. Called V-mail.
V-mail. That's right.
V.
Victory.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all would write a letter, and they would microfiche it and to save on shipping and.
Yeah. That's the side out there. They'd fold it, put it in a small envelope, or we would. But that's what it is. That's to her. Yeah.
It's addressed to Mom on Mary Street in Talladega.
Yeah. Now she'd gone to work over in Talladega. Oh, that's stuck down. I hate to tear it up. Yeah, she'd gone to work in Talladega then. This is goodies from Iceland, 1944. Yeah, that's a V-mail. I hope I can find them. She says in it out there in the. That must have been there when they were making those huts, reckon.
It says a CB bulldozer covers ammunition huts with rocks and earth at the U.S. Naval Base in Iceland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not ours. That's some naval.
Something probably Mom just clipped it because it said Iceland on it.
Yeah. You notice there's not any trees. Not a tree in Iceland.
No trees.
Wind blows all the time. Cold wind. And there's no trees there in Iceland. That's reading it. Like I told you, I was in the hospital twice. My eyes, they just, man, I tell you, mad all up. And there's a whole ward of people there, both times in the hospital, with the same problem, you know. That's when they called the company command and said that you're going to get me a job inside. But this one here, I guess, when I arrived. Oh, no, that was when I arrived in the U.S.
Read that one, what is it?
Just arrived in good old U.S. We'll see you this weekend, love, buddy.
So that's right when you got in.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see when was that. That's April 25th. How about that? When is the war officially over?
First week in May, so I don't know how long
That's
it took you to travel from there to Anniston.
It must have took about 5 days. When I got off the train, the guy told me the war was over.
You know, I think officially they say May 7th, but I'm not sure if it wasn't a couple of days before that the Germans met and surrendered.
What in the world this is, Chief?
You know what, I just got a low battery thing on this, so anything else you want to say about this, we better say before I run out.
Oh, this is a ration card from 1946 when I was home. This is they ration gasoline. You only get so many gallons. And I don't see how many gallons they said I got here. But so that's we're at the end of the page. Looks like.
Is that the end of it?
Yeah. I believe that's it. Yeah.
You know, we didn't.
Did we miss something?
No. It's just that we started out talking about it and didn't show the book here. So.
Yeah. I don't know where you found that book.
Well, you had this, and the intent is to scan all those photos and share them. So,
yeah. Well, I appreciate you doing it. Sure
appreciate you taking us on a tour through it.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you doing it.